You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
All right, Black and White Sports supporters, we're going to talk about the Patriots. Yeah, it's been a few days since I made a Patriots video, but we know things are about to get charged up on the Patriots front. Sunday, of course, is what many believe will be Belichick's last head coaching day for the New England Patriots. I do consider him to be the GOAT of all NFL head coaches. And I do think there are scenarios where he might be able to stay, but it's whether or not he'll actually go along with certain scenarios. One of those scenarios we're going to talk about here as far as there's got to be a general manager come in here, okay? Somebody's got to take over for player personnel control and get that offense built back up and get some talent. The offensive side of the football is devoid of talent in New England. I mean, the Panthers, the Patriots, they got the two worst offensive rosters, I believe, in all of the league. We also got a very interesting story about the fact that maybe the relationship between Mac Jones and Bailey Zappe wasn't very good. And I think, in fact, we may just start there because evidently there is no relationship between the two quarterbacks, which is really strange. I don't know if they're that competitive or if one of the two of them's that salty. I don't know what the problem is. But that's not a great sign. Now, one would normally have a veteran quarterback thrown in a room with two young quarterbacks. But they don't have that. They didn't sign a veteran quarterback. And I don't want to hear Will Grier because, I mean, it's Will Grier. Come on. I mean a veteran that's actually maybe sort of done something in the league. Anyway, let's get to this. This is the New York Post, and then we've also got a situation involving Bill O'Brien and Bill Belichick, and the fact that all the players knew the situation was, and I quote, completely effed when it came to the offensive side of the ball. And by the way, a report did come out. Bill Belichick wanted to bring back Matt Patricia as the offensive coordinator. That's unimaginable. It really is. As disastrous as last year was, and after what it did to your young quarterback, he wanted to run it back that way, and it was Robert Kraft that made Bill Belichick hire Bill O'Brien. So here we go. Quarterback competition between Mac Jones and Bailey Zappe brought silence instead of eliciting the best from each signal caller. The two quarterbacks, quote, hardly talk as the Patriots season is about to hit its merciful end, as reported by the Boston Herald in a deep dive into the team's 2023 woes. Quote, there's definitely isn't healthy communication in there about trying to win football games. A team source told the publication about the state of the quarterback's room. Jones, the Patriots' first-round pick in 2021, entered this make-or-break season as a Patriot starter following an uninspiring 2022 season. While he played decently to start the year, quote, the locker room's confidence in Jones waned significantly after the 34-0 home loss to the Saints on October 8th per the paper. Jones ultimately was benched for Zappe, who also replaced him several mid-games several times this season, and the two have not picked each other up. Yikes. The report says the two are often too focused on their individual preparation, leaving team sources to second-guess why they didn't add a veteran to keep everyone together. So somebody in team sources are second-guessing the decision of not hiring a veteran. Yikes. Zappe, however, publicly has stated that Jones has helped him. Quote, it's been good. Both of us want to win games, he said after the December 31 road loss to the Bills, per the outlet. So whoever's out on the field, we're going to help the other one. That's not what we're hearing here. The paper reported some teammates believe Jones received a raw deal and that his failure is a product of instability around him. So there's teammates there. There's Patriot teammates that believe Mac Jones, that the Patriots organization failed him. However, Jones's performance instilled no confidence, and the Herald reported that teammates saw that his confidence was, quote, shot. The Alabama product reportedly had a habit of audibling to a play call only to forego the passing to the top option on the said play. I heard about this. He would audible into a play to set up a specific passing option, and when he would hike the ball, he wouldn't pull the trigger to the passing option that he audible to. That is a quarterback that is broken, completely shot. Jones has tossed 10 touchdown passes compared to 12 picks this season, while Zappe has thrown 6 touchdown passes to 7 interceptions. Yikes. We had no chance to win with Mack at quarterback, one source told the paper. The instability at quarterback played a large role in why the Patriots are 4-12 entering Week 18's finale against the Jets. Patriots' dysfunction started before the season began. Quote, this was messed up from the beginning. Belichick denied new offensive coordinator Bill O'Brien, who had held the same role in New England before, the right to shape his staff as he saw it. That's where you're running into problems. Okay, I'm glad this actually brought it up because this ties in, or this is part of the other article I was going to get into, but we'll just use this. The paper reported O'Brien had issues with Belichick's hand-picked choices for the offensive line and receivers coach, 2 units which had struggled this season. Oh, Lord. So Bill O'Brien wanted to go with his own guys at offensive line as a coach, his own guys as receivers coach. Belichick denied him both, and, well, the units are completely screwed. The staff dynamic is completely fucked. That's a quote. A team source told the Boston Herald. However, one source pointed the finger at the team-building philosophy and passing on making significant upgrades to the offense or offensive line. It's a combination of all this as to why this whole thing is a nightmare. I mean, truly. You know what? I can tell every week. There's 2 things. Jacoby Myers, watching him play with the Raiders, and the fact that Belichick didn't re-sign him. And the other one, and this was the one that everybody thought was a slam dunk, they were going to draft Zay Flowers, and they didn't. And he is absolutely, as a rookie, kicking ass and taking names with the Baltimore Ravens right now as at receiver. I mean, I understand you got Christian Gonzalez. You drafted him at cornerback. It looks like he's a guy. He does. But the offense was the real wreck here. The defense has kept you in games without him in the lineup all year. You got to score points in this league now. Quote, we didn't invest in the offensive line until the 4th round, didn't take a receiver until the 6th. And you let Jacoby Myers walk. A source told the paper, how do we spend the first 3 picks on defense when tackle was the biggest problem on the team last year? That's true. If you're not going to bring in a legit free agent tackle, and I'm not talking, please don't bring up Riley Reef or anybody like that, a legit spend some real money on a tackle guy, then you're in a lot of trouble. Okay, you're in a lot of trouble. So let's get to Albert Breer, because he was on with, let's see, this is Zolak and Bertrand, and he's talking about general manager candidates. And a couple of these names on here, they're strong candidates. I mean, they're guys you recognize, and I'm going to be honest, I like Thomas Dimitroff and what he did in Atlanta from a personnel standpoint. So never won a Super Bowl, but he certainly drafted some big players down there.
Somebody who has experience here. So whether that's somebody who's been here before, like John Robinson, Thomas Dimitroff, and we can go through these guys if you want to know their strengths or whatever. Dave Ziegler. I think internally there are guys who get a look. One would be Elliot Wolf, who has interviewed for general manager jobs before, who's got great background, who was high up in the Packers organization, was basically the runner-up for their GM job when it went to Brian Gutekunst. It's Ron Wolf's son. And then The one name that's sort of a wild card that I haven't heard a lot of people talk about, who I've heard has a really good relationship with Mayo, who also has background here, is Trey Brown, who was in Cincinnati. And the good thing about hiring somebody from the Bengals, they've got such a small scouting staff because they're cheap. Because they do a lot of work. But that's the thing, is the guys know how to do everything because they have to do everything there, right? Like, so if you're looking for somebody who has like applicable experience, who's done a ton of different things, like Trey Brown would be that guy.
Okay, so he brought up Trey Brown. In case you're wondering who Trey Brown is, he is currently the senior personnel executive with the Bengals. He's been there since 2021. He's been with the AEF, XFL, long-time NFL scout. I mean, the guy was with the Patriots way back in the day, 2010 to 2012, as a scout. He was a scout for the Eagles. And, you know, we know the Patriots had some talent back then. Certainly the Eagles had some real talent back then. And, of course, the Bengals have done pretty well in the draft. But that's him right there, just so you've got a frame of reference and you know who it was that Burt Breer was talking about. So there you go. I mean, it was a wreck. The quarterback room was a wreck. You got sources that absolutely know that they didn't do what they should have done in the draft. The coaches hiring Bill O'Brien and then not allowing him to bring his own offensive staff in and the guys that he wanted to bring in, it's that sort of thing that is, in my opinion, it's just unacceptable. Why hire the guy? Why hire any other offensive coordinator if you're not going to let him bring in the receivers coach, the offensive line coach, et cetera, in his offense? You know, and look, I know how a lot of people feel about O'Brien as a coach. Look, much like Belichick, I never let O'Brien draft and make personnel decisions, really and truly. I might let him influence on offense, right? Think this guy would be a great wide receiver to the general manager. But, you know, as an actual coach, O'Brien's he was a really good coach. You go look at his record with the Texans, and that unbelievable job he did after coming in after the Joe Pa and Jerry Sandusky scandal at Penn State. He won there, won with the Texans, and, of course, he was really good with the Patriots. Then he was offensive coordinator for Alabama. And, of course, a few weeks ago we had a report. In fact, I think it was from Albert Breer about the fact that, you know, Bill O'Brien really wasn't allowed to run everything he wanted to run, and we've only recently, the last 3 to 4 weeks, maybe started to see more of the offense that Bill O'Brien actually wanted to install. And they're still devoid of talent. Anyway, by the way, if this Bill Belichick thing happens, it's not going to be a firing. I don't believe that. Nobody believes that. It's going to be a mutual parting or a trade or something. I do think there's a chance he could come back as coach, but he's going to have to give up a bunch of power to do it. And I don't know that he's going to be willing to do that. As head coach / defensive coordinator, yeah. By the way, Burt Breer was bringing up these guys because I think he believes Gerard Mayo is probably the next coach on this team. I think, you know, Mayo, O'Brien stays. There's going to be a lot of connective tissue, but you're going to have an actual general manager in the house. So if Belichick's not willing to give up the general manager part and literally, at least on the offensive side of the ball, it's not going to work. It's just not going to work. And stay out of the offensive decisions, you know, schemes and things of that nature. Tell me what you think. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.